From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Waodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Ijaw and Robo leaders endorsed President Bola Tinubu's intervention in the Warri delineation dispute, oppose any further modification to the delineation report. Delegation from Defense Headquarters assures justice for the killing of former military spokesman Rabi Abubakar during condolence visit to the Katsina state government. Primate of the Anglican Church of Nigeria, Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba, urges the federal government to identify and expose sponsors of insecurity across the country. And Iran's chief negotiator says further talks with the United States are meaningless following Israel's strike on Hezbollah. We begin tonight with politics, as leaders of the Ijaw and Robo ethnic nationalities in Warri federal constituency have accepted President Bola Tinubu's intervention in the Warri delineation dispute. The groups, which made their position known at a joint press briefing in Warri today, however, insist that no further changes should be made to the Independent National Electoral Commission's May 20 delineation report.
Following weeks of protests across the creeks of Delta states demanding the implementation of INEC's delineation reports, President Bola Tinubu convened an emergency meeting with Ijaw, Ishekiri and Urobo stakeholders at the presidential villa in Abuja. The president appealed for peace and compromise, directing an adjustment of the ward structure. He further mandated the three ethnic groups to collaborate with the National Security Advisor on a framework for power sharing and political rotation. The president's intervention prompted a press conference in Warri, where both Ijaw and Urobo leaders confirmed the acceptance of the adjustments.
We have reluctantly accepted the intervention of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in respect of the alteration to the registration area/electoral ward in the Southwest local government area as mark of respect for the President and in the internal interest of peace of the area.
The leaders acknowledged that the change reduced the number of wards originally recommended for Ijaw communities, describing the outcome as a difficult compromise. They also voiced concern over attempts to narrow discussions on broader power-sharing arrangements during follow-up meetings facilitated by the National Security Advisor.
For further emphasis, nobody, INEC inclusive, to alter the situation. And furthermore, the second phase is for the memorandum of understanding for the local government chairmen and the commissioners to be done in Asaba with the governor of Delta State.
Reaffirming their commitment to peace, the groups declare they would resist any further alteration to the delineation reports released by INEC on May 20.
The President was very, very clear that the only area he wants adjustment is Warri Southwest. And that was the adjustment he made. Our acceptance of the adjustment of Warri Southwest was because Warri North remains 10-10, Warri South remains 9-8-3.
As stakeholders weigh the balance between compromise and representation, the president's directive marks a pivotal step in easing tensions across Delta State. For now, the call for peace remains the common ground.
To security matters now, a high-powered delegation from the Defense Headquarters has paid a condolence visit to the Katsina state government over the killing of retired Major General Rabi Abdullahi, allegedly by bandits led by the Major General. The team also conveyed the military sympathy to Governor Diko Umaru Rada's administration, who is represented by the Deputy Governor Farouk Lawal Jobe. The delegation assured that security agencies are intensifying effort to track down and prosecute those responsible for the killing, describing the late officer as a patriot whose service to Nigeria will not be forgotten. In response, the Katsina state government appreciated the visit, reaffirming its commitment to working with security forces to combat banditry and strengthen public safety. Meanwhile, the primate of the Anglican Communion in Nigeria, Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba, is calling on the federal government to expose sponsors of insecurity in the country. Speaking after officiating the Sunday service at a cathedral church of Advent in Abuja, the primate also asked citizens to rally round the government to bring an end to the menace.
Nigerians must unite together, citizens and leaders. And those leaders that are supporting or fueling or sponsoring, or in fact, we need to expose those who are sponsoring this kind of ideology. And I am in support of the state police. It has been long since we have been advocating for that. But there will be a caveat there. That caveat is that we must watch out that the executives, the governors in the states and the leaders of the state would not turn those state police into their own agents and weapons to antagonize and fight their opponents.
And staying with security matters, the Christian Association of Nigeria Borno State Chapter is asking the federal government and Borno State government to do more in providing security to its citizens. The Borno State CAN Secretary, Reverend Joshua Michael, disclosed this at a peaceful procession against insecurity in the country. The CAN Secretary is also calling on government at all levels to ensure all kidnapped persons, including pastors, students in Musa community in Askira Uba local government area, as well as other individuals, are all rescued.
We gathered based on the call of the national leadership of Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, headed by Bishop Daniel C. Oko, where he urged all believers today to gather and pray. Today is tagged as a Black Sunday for all believers within the nation to pray specifically for those who are in the dens of kidnappers, and also to pray for the insecurity that we have found ourselves into as a nation, and also to pray for our leaders. God should give them direction and focus to end this insecurity within the nation. Currently within Borno State, we have Reverend Musa that was kidnapped since 2023 in Gamborungala. He's a reverend in Cooking Church, and also together with his wife. And also we have those that they have lost their lives. They were not even given privilege to be kept for some particular period. The moment they took them and they killed them. Last year, if you can recall, of an incident in Askira Uba, where a pastor also was killed, a pastor of EYN Church. So we have numbers of pastors that were kidnapped, not just pastors, we have our brethren that were kidnapped.
And staying in Borno State, the government says that it has reintegrated 720 repentant Boko Haram insurgents after undergoing a de-radicalization program at the Hajj camp in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Professor Usman Tar, who represented Governor Babagana Zulum at the oath-taking ceremony, asked them to embrace peace and respect constituted authority, having laid down their arms.
This is the 9th batch consisting 720 repentant Boko Haram insurgents who decided to lay their arms and are here taking oath with the Holy Book never to rejoin terrorist groups. The repentant insurgents who received training in different vocational skills during the de-radicalization program are drawn from across 14 local government areas of the state. The program is designed to provide the participants with vocational skills, psychosocial support, and the necessary tools to rebuild their lives and be productive.
The Borno model has reintegrated 8,960 in batches 1 to 8, and today 720 will join them as batch 9. That will bring the figure to 9,680 clearance of low risk and minors. The clearance seated in front of you were disarmed, demobilized thoroughly, de-radicalized, and rehabilitated. They are from Bama local government, Honduga, MMC, Jere, Mobile, Mafa, Dikwa, Goza, Dambua, Marte, Mungunu, Kukawa, Gamborungara, Kalabarge, and Gubiu.
The Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, who represented Governor Babagana Zulum at the event, charged them to reject violent extremism and embrace peace.
Be law-abiding citizens. Respect constituted authority. Respect your families. Borno needs builders, not destroyers. The government and people of Borno State are ready to receive you, but we expect you to be worthy ambassadors of peace. As you return to your communities, carry the message that peace is possible and the future belongs to those who choose education, hard work, and
They received vocational training in mechanic, welding, tailoring, soap making, among others, to become self-reliant and productive members of the society.
And as Nigerians continue to grapple with widespread insecurity, Governor Obasani of Kaduna State has stressed that elected leaders must assume full responsibility for safeguarding their domains. Speaking on regional security and governance, Governor Sani underscored that subnational leaders are entrusted primarily with the protection of lives and property.
So that's why I keep telling people, you don't need to blame President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to address issues like this. We were elected by our people to protect lives and properties. The Aswaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu don't have to come to Benin Warri. You don't have to come to these wars we're talking about, Kuele Ward, Kutemeshi Ward. No, we have over...
Anywhere in the country.
In the country, no. There are some areas that I have to work with the local government chairmen and the traditional rulers to address issues, not the president's issue. So all these things, president was not involved.
Yes.
But knowing fully that the problem in the Northwest is not the same thing with the problem of insecurity in the Northeast. You have to understand that. Northeast is largely an ideological problem. In the Northwest, largely is an economic issue. People were abandoned. Schools were closed, hospitals were closed, people were completely, they had no hope. But you see, the most important thing is, look, addressing the issue must be very holistic. It must be driven by the communities. It must be owned by the people within the grassroots. The issue of trust deficit must be addressed because those people are not, some of them have not recovered from the broken promises in the past.
And to catch the full interview, please watch Newsnight by 9 p.m. on Monday on all channels television platforms. In part two, after the break, residents of Festac Town in Lagos lament worsening infrastructure decay and deteriorating living conditions in their community. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Ijaw and Urhobo leaders endorsed President Bola Tinubu's intervention in the Warri delineation dispute, opposed any further modifications to the delineation report. Delegation from the Defense Headquarters assures justice for the killing of former military spokesman Rabi Abubakar, assuring during condolence visit to the Kaduna state government. Primate of the Anglican Church of Nigeria, Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba, urges the federal government to identify and expose sponsors of insecurity across the country. And Iran's chief negotiator says the further talks with the United States are meaningless following Israel's strike on Hezbollah. Non-indigenes residing in Kaduna State have pledged to support the re-election of Governor Uba Sani in 2027. The groups highlight the administration's achievements in inclusive governance, infrastructure, education, agriculture, security, and economic development within the last 3 years. They also say they said this during a meeting with the chairman of the Kaduna State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Jerry Adams, in Kaduna, the state capital.
A delegation of non-indigenes of Kaduna State, drawn from different ethnic groups across the country, are paying a courtesy visit to the chairman of the Kaduna State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Jerry Adams, in his office. The delegation is led by the Senior Special Assistant to Governor Uba Sani on support groups, Mr. Chima Amadi, and it includes representatives of non-indigene communities in the state. The visit provides an opportunity for the group to appreciate the Kaduna State government for policies aimed at improving the business environment, enhancing security, and promoting peaceful coexistence.
Trying to mobilize them to make sure that these people get their voters' card and participate in the elections. Because most of these non-indigenous groups resident in Kaduna, you know, Chairman, that Kaduna State is a mini Nigeria, where every state, every indigene from different parts of the country finds home, and they are now enjoying it because of the good leadership of our dear Governor, Senator Dr. Uba Sani.
Your steadfast support for policies that promote unity, inclusiveness, peace, and sustainable development has earned you the admiration and respect of our members and the wider community. We are particularly impressed by the manner in which your office has addressed the issue of multiple taxation, which for many years imposed severe hardship on businesses across the state.
Addressing the delegation, the executive chairman of the Kaduna State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Jerry Adams, described the support as a demonstration of confidence in the developmental strides recorded by Governor Uba Sani's administration in Kaduna State.
Tax compliance from taxpayers have increased tremendously. So, and organizations like this also, apart from political, will also want to use organizations like this to sensitize, to do a lot of sensitization to taxpayers and on the need for them to pay taxes, because that's a civic responsibility of every eligible taxpayer.
The meeting ends with the visitors noting that Governor Uba Sani's economic reforms and developmental initiatives have contributed significantly to making Kaduna State more attractive to live, for investment and business growth.
The senator representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, has demanded the release of detained PDP members in Ekiti, condemning political intimidation as a threat to democracy ahead of Saturday's gubernatorial election. While addressing supporters in Ado-Ekiti, Mr. Akpoti-Uduaghan urged parties to compete on policy rather than coercion.
The only thing I got to know of today was that irrespective of the fact that certain permissions were written to the government to use some facilities for the campaigns, they were being denied that. And I'm also aware that transportation was grounded today. So most of the people you see here had to walk. I was made aware of that. So with regards to his supporters being arrested or jailed, maybe I must have missed that on the news, but if they are, I would just call on the government to please release them. I do not believe politics should be practiced on the grounds of bitterness. I believe that politics should be such that candidates will be able to campaign on their well-written manifesto and allow the public to resonate with them on their ideals or philosophies. And that's how I believe politics should be. And I trust that the upcoming elections, which will be on the 20th of June 2026, will be fair and credible, hopefully. PDP candidate Dr. Warri has great chances of victory. I went around several local governments yesterday. I was on the road till 10:30 p.m. and I tell you the response has been amazing. There's this organic love of people who seem to have connected greatly with him as an individual, with his philanthropic works, and also from the political family that he's been born into. So I think he has great chances. And no doubt, PDP is alive, contrary to the expectations of some people. And we're well grounded. As you can see, the turnout, the massive. And I tell you, I'm sure of victory.
Meanwhile, the PDP candidate Dr. Warri has dismissed the alleged Form K crackdown, asserting his commitments to liberating the state from systemic struggle and asking residents to vote for change.
I am very confident I'm the next governor of Ekiti. I am extremely confident. I've done this twice before. This is my third time, and I feel the difference. And in actual fact, I'm not really too worried because you can only rig when you are popular. You can't rig when you are unpopular. This government is extremely unpopular. So, and we have our eyes open, we have our ears open. We're going to block every mistake that INEC will make. I believe it's there. There are mistakes. So we are very observant, and I'm sure that we'll have a good election. We've had a failed government in the last 3 years. A government that has really taken a lot of money and hasn't done anything that I can see. I have tried to elaborate a few things about what I'm going to do. We're going to improve our infrastructure. We're going to lay emphasis on wealth creation through good health services, agriculture, improvement, education, and generally change the mindset of Ekiti people that entrepreneurship is the answer to our questions. We cannot continue to be a government that depends on federal allocation only. We need to change our mindset, and the government has to act as a stimulant for this change and help growth come to Ekiti.
The governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to prioritizing the safety and welfare of citizens while delivering more dividends of democracy across the state. The governor gave this assurance during the commemoration of Democracy Day and the official commencement of activities to mark the 3rd anniversary of his administration.
The event brought together government officials, traditional rulers, political stakeholders, civil servants, and other residents who showed up to reflect on the achievements of the Lawal administration over the past 3 years and chart the course for continued development. Speaking at the gathering, the secretary to the Zamfara state government described the administration as one driven by purposeful leadership and people-centered policies aimed at improving governance and service delivery.
May 2023 to date, His Excellency did not waste any time. He began by restructuring of the MPAs and indeed the public service in Zamfara State. When he took the mantle of leadership, we inherited over 43 agencies. And we brought them down to about 18, and that is how we were able to create about 18 ministries, with 16 headed by ministries and also 2 commissioners that report directly to His Excellency.
Governor Dauda Lawal used the occasion to present a summary of his administration's achievements since assuming office.
In the area of security, we are prioritizing the protection of life and property. We have strengthened the state's security architecture and continue to support national security agencies with logistics, operational needs, and other requirements essential to their functions. We established the Community Protection Guard (CPG) to complement the effort of security agents, support intelligence gathering, and improve local response to threats. Our message has remained very, very clear. Zamfara belongs to its people, and no criminal group will be tolerated to hold our communities hostage. We have completed the construction of Gusau International Airport, from where the 2026 Zamfara pilgrims were airlifted directly to the Holy Land.
As the event winds down, the governor assures the people of Zamfara that his administration would remain committed to building a secure, prosperous and inclusive state where development reaches every cabinet.
Festac Town, once celebrated as a model of modern urban planning and a flagship legacy of the 1977 Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, that's Festac 77, is now facing growing concern over its decline. As the estate approaches its 50th anniversary, residents and stakeholders say its once iconic infrastructure is gradually deteriorating, sparking renewed debate over alleged neglect and the steady erosion of its original design vision. Our correspondent, Chris Elems, reports.
In 1977, Festac Town stood as a masterclass in urban organization. A sprawling network designed to house thousands, anchored by state-of-the-art waterworks and a sophisticated central sewage system. 50 years later, that vision of order is being replaced by chaos. The residents are sounding the alarm. They allege that the Federal Housing Authority, the body entrusted with the estate stewardship, is presiding over a fire sale of communal assets.
We have the records of who bought, who sold. At the appropriate time, we will mention names. This one behind us is on 5th Avenue by 2nd Avenue Road, this 5th Avenue junction. That's a sewage facility. If you go straight this road by Alakija by 3rd Gate by 7th Avenue, there's a sewage facility there for the people that are on that area. If you go to 41 Road, where we're just coming from, there's a sewage facility there. If you go to 4th Avenue by 7th Avenue, a facility is there. 21 Road by 201, a facility is there. Sold!
Beyond the concrete, the natural heritage is suffering. Trees that have anchored the environment for half a century are being felled, stripping the estate of its green lungs and raising fears of long-term environmental degradation.
I just cannot understand what is going on. And lots of people you see that are selling all these critical infrastructures, they don't even live in Festac Town here.
While localized road rehabilitation projects are currently underway at the 2nd and 7th Avenues, the residents fear that without immediate presidential intervention, the failure of critical utilities could trigger a public health crisis that an estate of this size is ill-equipped to handle.
Sewage supposed to be disposed of properly. If not properly disposed, we are looking for disease outbreak. And I can assure you all that we do not have enough medical hands in this country again. Everybody is aware of the Jagba syndrome. 2, if our green spaces and parks are sold, our environment is in trouble. They are telling us plant a tree to help combat climate change. Here they are cutting down trees.
The question for many is Festac Town being modernized or is it being dismantled? With the FHA promising to provide a definitive account of happenings within the estate, the residents are looking beyond the agency. Their plea is now directed to the presidency, a call to preserve one of Nigeria's most significant historical landmarks before the Golden Jubilee becomes a funeral for its infrastructure. Chris Alems, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, NDLEA operatives intercept Brazil-based Nigerian businessman with over 6 kilograms of liquid cocaine. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10 on Channels Television. We head to Plateau State now, where the government has taken major steps to drive and tackle youth unemployment and boost food production with the orientation of 500 young people selected for the Plateau Youth Agricultural Empowerment Program, PYAPE. The beneficiaries, drawn from over 3,000 applicants, were briefed on the objectives, expectations, and the opportunities under this initiative, which aims to transform agriculture into a profitable business venture for young people across the state. Our correspondent, Percy Dabang, reports.
Youths from different parts of Plateau State converged for an orientation held at the Azinyako Youth Center in Jos, where officials of the program emphasized that the selection process was based strictly on merit and commitment to agriculture.
Government is giving you the land.
The program's focal person highlights the government's efforts in providing land, input, and technical support, while participants are expected to contribute their ideas, dedication, and management skills.
You are selected because you have shown commitment. You have shown that you are ready to farm. This one is empowerment, that you are the one empowering yourself. Government is only supporting you to empower yourself. It's only providing the opportunity for you to do so. Starting with people that we believe are serious, people who desire to become farmers, people who believe that they can make something out of farming.
The government described the initiative as a strategic investment in the future of Plateau youth, stressing that the program is not a cash disbursement scheme, but a practical pathway to agricultural entrepreneurship.
We are running a partnership kind of training on this project. We are providing you with all you need. Government has gone as far as providing you with accommodation, feeding, all the farm inputs, that's fertilizer, seeds, and also herbicides and other agrochemicals that you need. They have also provided you with the land for free. Please, let's appreciate the governor for that. All you need to do is show commitment.
The president of the Plateau Youth Council commends Governor Caleb Mutfwang for sustaining the initiative despite previous challenges, as he urged beneficiaries to justify the confidence reposed in them.
Government cared for the young people, and government has expressed resilience in ensuring that agriculture must thrive on the plateau. I have every belief that those of you who are seated here, those of you who have been carefully selected, will not disappoint the youth of Plateau State.
Thank you, Mr. John Tuje.
With plans already underway to establish a modern agricultural training school and laboratories at back farms, stakeholders believe the program could become a model for youth-driven agricultural transformation in Plateau State. Percy Dabang, Channels Television News.
And in Kano State, the government has conducted at least 5 major mass weddings since 2011, marrying of over 6,000 couples. The current batch of 1,500 couples will be the latest batch under Governor Abba Yusuf's Orangata program. According to the agency in charge of the mass wedding in Kano, the Hisba board, only 10 out of the 350 marriages had failed in the early batches. Our correspondent, Abubakar Salihu, reports.
Attending this premarital screening exercise are some of the 1,500 couples to participate in the Kano State mass wedding billed to take place anytime in June 2026. While revealing that Kano State has earmarked 1.5 billion naira for the 2026 mass wedding, the Director General of the Kano State Hisba Board added that the program will, besides supporting the couples to start a family, also tackle out-of-marriage birth.
If you engage in this program, you will not divorce
you not divorce the wife until you come to Kano State Hizbah Board, unless, and we are going to interfere, we are going to intervene, we are going to do all the necessary things needed for that warrant divorce.
The Director General further explains that the premarital screening covers a range of medical and physical examinations to ensure compatibility and maturity of the prospective couples.
The Kano State House of Assembly has enacted a law that any marriage, not only from Kano State Hizbah, but any marriage, that if they have to go, they have to undergo medical screening. The medical screening includes HIV screening, genotype screening, hepatitis screening. So all these our couples, they have to undergo this process. Anything that violates the health conditions, then that couples will be disqualified.
The Kano State Agency for the Control of AIDS is in charge of medical screening of the prospective couples. They say the exercise was being conducted in accordance with the Kano State Premarital Screening Law enacted in 2024.
We have conducted in 23 LGs that are non-metropolitan. So now we are doing this for the metropolitan LG so as to ease the transport problem for people outside the metropolis. And then we are going to conduct at the remaining 11 non-metropolitan LGs, taking a total of 34 non-metropolitan LGs. And then we are going to do, for the 10 metropolitan LGs, we are going to do it here, which we are starting today.
A lecturer of social studies at the Yusuf Maitama Sule University of Education, Kano, asserts that government-sponsored weddings will, besides curtailing societal immorality, also reduce the rate of divorce.
Honestly, this will help in reducing many cases of social biases in our society. Because if our girls and boys were married, no one would debate. They are matured, they are eating food day and night, they are watching social media, so at times they will debate. But if they are married, at least all the couples will remain together, and this will reduce high rate of social biases. Recent studies has shown that one of the causes of the divorce is economic issue.
Kano State introduced a mass marriage program to support widows, orphans, and other less privileged individuals who often struggle with the financial demands associated with marriage. Abubakar Salu, Channels Television News.
And as part of efforts to strengthen healthcare delivery in Kogi State, the chairman of 21 local government areas in the state have been advised to take ownership of primary healthcare centers within their domain. The secretary to the state government, Mrs. Folashade Ayoade, gave this advice at a two-day strategic local government authority dialogue in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital.
This two-day dialogue for strategic local government authority officials attracted chairmen of the 21 local government areas. According to the state government, over 500
payment of allowance to ad hoc staff, drug and non-drug supply, fuel, communication, and that is the fund we are disbursing to those facilities.
The World Bank had supported the state through a credit facility for PHCs, targeting service delivery, equipment, infrastructure, and human capital development.
That was laid after 22 years of that mission.
The Kogi State Coordinating Commissioner for Health, Dr. Abdulaziz Adeiza, highlights the impact of the World Bank project.
According to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, PHCs still remain the responsibilities of the local government. This is also backed by the National Health Act 2014 and the National Primary Health Development Agency Act.
The role of strategic leadership in universal healthcare, from policy to local action, is the focus of the address by the President of Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria.
The point is, if I need to see a health personnel, do I see them when I need it? That is the first point. That is the first point. The second one is, will that health personnel be qualified enough to give me services that will solve my problem? The third one is, are the medications available for that person to solve the problem?
The Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Folashade Ayoade, represented the governor at the event, and she highlights the need for local government chairmen to take ownership of primary health care delivery.
We are not gathered here
to merely debate theories or admire well-written policy documents. No, we are here to bridge the gap.
The chairman of the 21 local government areas signed a commitment register to ensure sustainable primary healthcare services delivery.
The Counselor of the Chinese Embassy in Nigeria, Wang Jun, is emphasizing the importance of sustained bilateral relations between Nigeria and the People's Republic of China, especially in areas of poverty alleviation. The diplomat maintains that Nigeria has more to benefit in areas of rural development and environmental protection. The Counselor made the statements during a dialogue session with experts from the academia at the China General Chamber of Commerce in Abuja.
The Center for China Studies holds the June edition of the Chinese Embassy Dialogue with experts, academics, and stakeholders converging to discuss areas of mutual cooperation. Having navigated the challenges of poverty and environmental hazards, the Chinese government, through its embassy, offers to assist Nigerian government to overcome similar challenges. The Counselor of the Chinese Embassy explains the vision of the leader of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping.
The focus of today's dialogue is the Xi Jinping, the governance of China series. This volume systematically articulates the core principles, essence, and the practical requirement of Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for new era. They offer important windows into understanding the logic behind Chinese development, governance, and theoretical innovation. For example, the concept of the target poverty alleviation outlined in the books emphasizes precise, tailored measures for each village, household, and individuals. China successfully lifted nearly more than 800 million rural residents out of poverty.
Participants at the dialogue share their thoughts.
From your book, from the book of your leader, that long-term national planning is beyond election cycles because it takes a great deal of time, patience, policy consistency to get each of those ideas that he elucidated so well in the book. If you read the book, you will even see situations where they're tinkering with assumptions slightly as they go along. For the Nigerian situation, we need about 25 to 30 years of natural development framework to survive.
China comes to understand that the only way and manner for peace to reign within the international system is when people are actually exchanged. This brings us to the question of the global civilization initiative, that we shouldn't actually look ourselves up as being superior to other peoples, but rather let us share among ourselves, let us accept and appreciate other people's civilization.
As the dialogue session ends, the Counselor, President Xi Jinping, states that China is ready to share its governance experience with Africa and Nigeria, as well as support every country in exploring development pursuant to their own national conditions.
Between China's modality.
To company news now, Kaloha Nigeria, the authorized importer and franchise holder of Chery vehicles in Nigeria, has officially launched the all-new Chery Tiggo 9 plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, announcing the forthcoming introduction of the Chery Q brand into the Nigerian market. The unveiling ceremony marked the introduction of Chery's latest flagship sport utility vehicle and its next-generation mobility solutions to the Nigerian market. Speaking at the unveiling of the Chery's latest flagship SUV, the managing director of Chery Central Africa, Mr. Hai Wei, says the company has been the export champion for 23 straight years, and the introduction of the Chery Tiggo 9 to the Nigerian market serves as a significant milestone in Chery's commitment to innovation, intelligent technology, and sustainable mobility.
Chery luxurious cars on display for interested buyers in Kaloha, Nigeria's flagship showroom in Alapere, Lagos. Top managers of the company are in the country to specially inform lovers of smart vehicles of the company's latest brand called Chery Tiggo 9 plug-in hybrid electric vehicle.
The Tiggo 9 PHEV from Chery, they offer stronger performance,
lower running costs, smarter technological integration, more practical space is right now currently available underground in Nigeria for only 85 million naira.
Away from the conference room, it's time to unveil the company's latest baby. The Tiggo 9 redefines elegance, showing off a bold, authoritative front face and sleek and robust body lines. A perfect blend of grandeur and power, designed to convey unwavering confidence on every road.
Where you are using your electric vehicle, it gives you an average of 1.9 liters per 100 kilometers. When you're on fuel consumption, it gives you 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers.
Nigeria market is almost the number one in Africa for us. We have to launch the latest technology to this market for people to have a better experience and also can let our customers in Nigeria to experience a better feeling.
A humanoid robotic device gives an illustration of the premium SUV, combining luxury, intelligent technology, advanced safety systems, and an efficient hybrid performance.
A premium hybrid 7-seat SUV designed for power, comfort, safety, and long-distance confidence.
For purchasing this vehicle, you stand to enjoy 6 years warranty, 6 years free maintenance, and 7 days promise. The 7 days promise means if we cannot fix the car within the next 7 days that the car comes into the garage, we will offer you a courtesy vehicle.
What's our service interval is first 3 months or 5,000 kilometer service. We are here to support the user of any Cherry car, and especially this PHEV, to any length.
Carloha Nigeria is not stopping at Cherry Tiggo 9 PHEV. The company promises to launch the Cherry Q brand in the next few months, reaffirming its commitment to providing mobility solutions that align with global automotive trends.
This is the product, the model that...
41-year-old Sao Paulo, Brazil-based businessman Abugo Ikechukwu has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, for importing shirts and towels imprinted with 6.10 kilograms of liquid cocaine from the South American country into Nigeria. A statement by the Director of Media and Advocacy of the agency, Mr. Femi Babafemi, says that Mr. Abugu was arrested at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, upon arrival from the Brazil-Addis Ababa, Ethiopia board on the Ethiopia Airways flight on Thursday, June 11, 2026. And that statement also explains that through search of his luggage led to the discovery of 14 towels and shirts, all soaked in liquid cocaine, dried and well ironed. The House of Representatives has convened an emergency sitting for Monday, June the 15th, 2026, to consider a critical amendment to the 2025 Appropriation Act. A notice issued to members of the Green Chamber states that the sitting will commence at 11 a.m. in accordance with Order 5, Rule 2.2 of the House Standing Orders. Lawmakers are expected to deliberate on the Appropriation Repeal and Enactment Act 2025, Amendment Number 2 Bill 2026, and the proposed legislation seeks to extend the implementation period of the capital component of the 2025 budget from June 30 to September 30, 2026. The extension is expected to provide additional time for the completion of ongoing capital projects and the full utilization of budgetary allocations earmarked for infrastructural development. Let's delve into the world of sports now, as Edo Queens have emerged champions of the Nigeria Women Football League Premiership, having held Bayelsa Queens at a 1-0 draw in the matchday 5 of the Super 6, which was played in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. The Edo-based team finished on the 10 points from 5 games to reclaim the women's title they won back in 2024. For Nasarawa Amazons and Rivers Angels, they played a 0-0 draw. Earlier, Abia Angels and FC Robo Queens settled for a 1-1 draw, and as champions, Edo Queens will now fly the country's flag in the CAF Women's Championship League qualifiers next season. Scotland's four-times winners Germany has made a confident start to their World Cup campaign with a 7-1 win over tournament debutants Morocco in the Group E this evening, and Felix Mche also opened the scoring just 6 minutes in. The Germany were also stunned when Lavino Comanemsia leveled with the group in the first ever World Cup goal. There was no stopping for Germans, who netted in 6 more goals and Houston to secure Germany's first opening match win at the World Cup since their successful 2014 campaign in Brazil. Well, the Germans will now face stiffer tests against group rivals Ecuador and Côte d'Ivoire, but their win against the Caribbean nation has put them in a good position to progress to the knockout stage. Scotland's John McGinn hails his side's pressure game win over Haiti, and that's after claiming victory in the World Cup Group C opener. Aston Villa captain McGinn also fired in with the aid of a deflection just before the half-hour mark at the Gillette Stadium just outside Boston, which was filled to its 64,000 capacity with a majority of Scottish fans. And this is Scotland's first win at the World Cup since the 2-1 defeat of Sweden and Italy back in 1990. It is also the first victory at any major tournament in 30 years since Euro 96.
It's our pressure game, favourites going into it. Haiti are a very difficult opponent. They played very well against New Zealand, played very well against Peru, who are a good team. They've got so many unique qualities that we're not used to playing against. So the important thing tonight was to get a clean sheet and get the 3 points, and we've managed to do that. Can we play a bit better? Of course we can, but that's brilliant. We're going into the games against Morocco and Brazil with more gears to go up. But Scotland winning at a World Cup again is the main takeaway from tonight.
This country's waited so long for that moment, so the feeling at the end was pure relief, and then the moment between the fans and the players at the end there was something that will live me forever, and it was nice to just sort of take it all in.
And Harry Kane leads his England teammates to train in Kansas City for the first time as the Three Lions prepare for their opening World Cup match against Croatia on June the 17th. England defender Dan Burn says that it is surreal to be at the World Cup, and that's after the journeyman career that has taken him all the way from non-league football to the game's biggest stage. Away from sports and outside our shores, President Donald Trump has said a deal to end fighting between the United States and Iran scheduled to be signed today after Iran cast doubt on the timing. In a post on social media, Mr. Trump says the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route, will be open to all once the deal is agreed. On Saturday, Pakistan, a key mediator, also said the deal was likely expected to be finalized within 24 hours and they were preparing for the electronic signing. Before President Trump's comments, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghei expressed caution over the timeline, saying in his words, "We will have to wait and see about the exact date of the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, although it will not be tomorrow." And that's today. A delegation from Qatar, which has also mediated in the talks, arrived in Tehran on Sunday, and it was not clear if the visit will affect the timing of Iran's expected signature of that deal. And the main news again. Ijaw and Urhobo leaders have endorsed President Bola Tinubu's intervention in the Warri delineation dispute, and the group, who made their position known during a joint press briefing today, also opposed any further modifications to the delineation report. The primate of the Anglican Church in Nigeria, Mr. Reverend Henry Ndukuba, is asking the federal government to identify and expose sponsors of insecurity across the country. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawado. Good night and have a fruitful week ahead.